Hey guys, Scott with Snare Firearms,
Ryan with Shooter Media Outlet.
and want to do a quick video on the microstamping of ammunition.
Yeah, this is crazy.
So, reason why we wanted to bring this up to everyone's attention is I had a couple questions about it, and we've been seeing a lot of stuff being reposted on Instagram over probably the past 3-4 weeks.
It's really picked up recently.
Now, obviously, this has been something they've been trying to work way before today. I mean, this has been an ongoing thing where more bills are trying to be passed and they keep getting shot down and they modify a little bit here and there. But the one that in particular right now is recent for the 2017 and 2018 bill. It's their HR 3458. And basically it just says here to require certain semi-automatic pistols manufactured, imported, or sold by federal firearms licensees to be capable of microstamping ammunition and prohibit the removal, obliteration, or alteration of the microstamp code or microstamping capabilities of the firearm.
Now that is in California, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So California's obviously been like the pinnacle of all this, and it always worries me. You know, once something happens in California, it becomes law, a lot of these other states start falling in
the ripple effect, you know, you throw a stone into a pond, you're going to have a ripple, and that's exactly what California's always been.
Sure.
And I think it's good, I mean, not to change the subject, but for people here in Pennsylvania to actually be worried about what's happening in California. I see a lot of the California guys doing videos, but you don't see too much from, you know, people outside of the state.
Because it's good. The whole out of state, out of sight, out of mind. And that's a troublesome thing. I mean, you know, we looked at some of the stuff like, you know, the Hearing Act.
Right.
Where,
HPA.
Yeah. Well, you know, California, I mean, what happened, guys? Like, you guys didn't sign any petitions, anything. It's like, when states start giving up on that, they're not contacting their local representatives and everything else. I mean, it just becomes a ripple effect.
Right. As a two-way community, we need to band together.
Absolutely.
Realistically. So this is kind of us banding together. And
we joke about, you know, we get to rock the high capacity mags.
Right.
And, you know, we took some pot shots of the guys rocking the 10 rounders and stuff. But a realistic thing is, you know, someday, even though we're in Pennsylvania here, even Texas, I mean, it could happen.
Oh yeah.
So having more knowledge, learning more about what's happening with your legislation out there means the world to the 2A community. Just being able to brush up on that type of stuff.
Right.
Now, microstamping, I mean, and just to do a little quick thing before we really get full blown into this, you know, I had always argued with my friends, you know, other people that come into the store, it's like, you know, one of these days we're going to start serializing the ammunition themselves. And we're like, oh, it'll never happen, like no one's going to abide by that. Well, it happened. And, you know, you looked at Seattle, you look at them start taxing extra per round. I mean, you couldn't get away with some of these ammunition. You know, 9mm practice rounds were going for $40, $50 for a box of 50. And it's because they got complacent, they allowed their government to steamroll them on that, and then before you know it, you're going to start having serialized this, serialized that. Biometrics on firearms, I mean, that was always one of those...
Smart guns,
yeah. That was always one of those things that would kind of just pop up on the horizon, but it never really came to fruition.
It's there in the background. It has been this entire time, and that's scary.
But if you look at it from not just a consumer standpoint, but a manufacturer like Glock or Smith & Wesson, how much money does that cost them to start making these, you know, just altering their firearms in general to abide by these laws?
Right.
And you know, it's not going to be like you must have these smart guns in every state. Pennsylvania might never adopt that. So now you have to make one type of firearm this way and one type for the rest of the consumers. It becomes a very cost-effective thing, and we're not cost-effective, and that means anyone going to purchase a firearm in a store like this, the prices go up.
Now, right. Microstamping, looking at microstamping,
well, first off, what is microstamping?
What is microstamping? What is going to happen to microstamp ammunition? They're not going to individually put a serial number on the ammunition.
Correct, which they wanted to. I know that they wanted to. So that way you could only be allowed to get one box per month, and everything was logged in, so if the ammunition was used, you're kind of out of luck.
Right.
So what it means to be microstamped is they're going to change out the firing pins.
Right.
You're going to have a stamp on your firing pin that puts that serial number on it. So it taps the primer, marks your ammunition. So right there, let's look at the drawbacks.
Right.
So before we even ran this video, he brought up a very interesting point. What happens when it starts wearing, like the firing pin itself? What happens when all the etching and stuff starts going away because you fired 5,000 rounds through your firearm?
Yeah.
do you have to get it serviced? Do you have to take it back to the government and say, hey, guess what?
Well, I mean, is
It's
someone
not
going to be
standing anymore?
inspecting, you know, the primer strikes? Is someone going to be inspecting to make sure that you're getting a consistent primer strike, getting a consistent serial number on that, you know?
And I mean, in all honesty, I mean, let's look at what a regular stamp does. You know, I run these stamps all the time for my 4473 forms. If I don't hit it just right, or it's starting to run low in ink, you get half of a print.
Right.
So how many of us out there have shot on the range and had a light primer strike?
I'll raise my hand to that one. I know most of you that are watching this have had light primer strikes.
Yeah, I mean,
you
it
know.
happens all the time. I mean, it's whether, you know, your firearm's not in battery, it's not seated properly, the magazine's not where it needs to be, or there's a million reasons why you might get a light primer strike.
Right. Plus, ammo manufacturers. I mean, the primers can be different. You know, there's everything changes. There's so many variables that go along.
And you look
with
at the
this.
degradation and quality of a primer. I mean,
Right.
all ammunition's not created equal.
Right.
So if you get some chintzy ammo, I mean, how long before? I mean, if that stamp's that prominent, what if it punches through the primer itself?
Yeah.
What if you actually cut through it? I mean, there's always possibilities for that. But we got a list here of the actual drawbacks. That, you know, really well thought out points here, and you know, obviously we talked about the wear and what happens if everything disappears, but let's talk about revolvers. You're a wheel gun guy.
Yeah.
The ammunition's meant to be traced back.
Right.
What happens when that ammunition's not dumped? I mean, semi-autos, I mean, they spit brass.
Yeah, that's a major drawback. I mean, you know, someone commits a crime that, you know, the whole premise of this microstamping is because of 40% of crime isn't solved because there's not enough substantial evidence.
Correct.
So they're looking at it saying, okay, gun violence, there's going to be spent brass, we can nail them with this microstamping. Well, that's not going to be the case.
If you're the polite shooter,
right,
and you know, you don't have to worry about picking up the brass.
You're
I mean,
policing, yeah.
Yeah, what's to stop that? I mean, in this article too, they were talking about how the firearm of choice for most criminals is a 38 special. It's a Smith & Wesson, you know, like snub nose or whatever it might be. So people aren't going full blown out for, you know, a Glock 19. Or
you're not going to see a Terran Tactical Glock 19, you know, something like that for mass any type of crime.
Where, you know, they shoot the person, they dump 17 rounds of ammunition out.
Right.
And now there's 17 casings. Like, you know, in theory, they're probably not going to be able to pick up all 17. I mean, brass kicks everywhere and bounces off of stuff. But that's a very realistic thing with a revolver. It's not kicking brass out.
Right.
So what's to say they can't just recollect that and, you know, go sprinkle it at another crime scene?
Yeah. There's a lot of variables with that.
You know, you're looking at framing people, whatever it might be. But here's the other thing: registered owner or shooter. So, I mean, I don't care where you're at. You're always like, let's say tomorrow they put the stamps on every firearm.
Right.
How frequently are we going to still find a trade-in?
Right.
How often am I going to find a Glock make its way into my store and it doesn't have the stamp on it? Do we have to burn these? Do we turn these in? Do we get them upgraded? How much does it cost to be upgraded?
Right.
There's a whole other can of worms that gets opened because of that, but you're never going to effectively have all that. I mean, look at all these crates of, you know, AKs coming from Serbia or, you know, Yugoslavia or wherever.
Right.
I mean, those are decades old.
Right.
But they're still in circulation.
Exactly.
They're still up for sale. They can still be thrown on my wall and I can still sell them. So there's never going to be that infinite, you know, perfect possibility of that gun always having a stamp on it.
Right.
So, I mean, and then you're also looking at what happens if I give you my firearm to take to the range.
Exactly.
And there's, I don't know, a negligent discharge.
So, yeah.
Well, that's my name on it now. That's my serial number.
Right.
You can be like, sorry, bud, like, you're out of luck, dude. I actually shot this guy in the knee, but it's your stamp. They're going to come to the gun store is going to give them the information, and they're going to go right after the person who bought it.
Right.
So what happens if somebody breaks into your house?
Right. Yeah, commits a bunch of murders, and I mean, everything's then tied to you. You know what I mean?
You're looking at what, like, you know, it's like an 8 or 16% or something. It's not astronomical, but I mean, a lot of firearms are stolen and then used in a robbery or, you know, being held up at the bank or something like that. So it still reverts back to the whole thing with the wheel guns. I mean, they're not kicking out brass. Well, how do you frame somebody? Well, I saw this guy with a sweet gun at the range, and he has a stamp on it, so I'm going to follow him home, break into his house, take his gun, shoot my spouse, and now it's tied back to him.
Right.
You know, it's not like CSI where it's like, you know, instantaneous this. I mean, it's a long drawn out process where that person might get hemmed up for a year, 2 years before they figure out, oh crap, there was a video camera across the street, and it's like,
yeah, the ATM over there. Yeah,
so
exactly.
now it's like, oh, it actually wasn't him shooting the gun, but we've ruined his life for 2 years. That's
right.
not a good thing. basically, I mean, what we've gotten from this is it's not going to work.
No, it's not practical at all. Like we both said about, you know, the favorite firearm stuff like that, something you're going to shoot 5,000 rounds through. I mean, what do you expect? You're going to start wearing down the firing pin. And what's going to stop somebody who wants to commit a crime from removing the firing pin and filing it down just enough that you're not getting, you know, a ballistic fingerprint? It's common sense. I mean, somebody who wants to commit a crime is going to do it regardless.
Well, other thing I would bring up too is reloaders.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people scour trash cans by my range.
Oh my gosh.
Just to find like 2 extra, you know,
like vultures.
Yeah.
I know.
So, okay, I've just microstamped 90 rounds.
Right.
Dump them into
the community trash, you know, the collection bucket.
And now somebody just picks up for a crime and just sprinkles 90 of my rounds,
right.
90 of my casings.
Right.
At a crime scene. I mean, there's no...
It's not practical.
Clear-cut way. Absolutely. And the other thing, too, is, I mean, we go back to the cost of the manufacturer. I mean, how many gun companies might go out of business because of this, because they're forced to do it based on legislation? Or how many are just like, screw it, we're not going to do this because it's going to jack our prices way up?
It's interesting. It's trying times we live in, for sure. Yeah.
But, I mean, firearms aren't cheap, so it's only going to get worse.
Right.
I mean, imagine having, like, biometrics or, you know, like these smart guns. I mean, we look at, you know, the cost of a magazine for like $29. I can't imagine putting biometrics onto a firearm.
Right.
Let alone, I mean, like, what happens if, you know, your wife's at home and you're away at work?
Right.
Can she use the biometric? Probably not.
Right.
Where's the resale value on that too?
Exactly.
You have none. Unless you want to like shave off your fingerprints and like give them.
Here's my identity.
Do some like creepy like Silence of the Lambs type stuff. Where, like there's like, you know, wearing you as like a meat puppet or something. I don't know. So, I mean, it's a serious thing, and that's why, you know, we want to make a video. We're starting to see a lot of stuff come out of California, you know, even more so.
Yeah, there is enough content coming out on Instagram and a lot of social media that we thought would warrant, you know, doing a response video to what's going on, and it's interesting. And guys, I mean, definitely, if you have other YouTube channels out there, I would definitely research it and just spread the word. Yeah. That's the biggest thing in the 2A community, like we said.
Well, and it goes back to the Hearing Act. I mean, we were looking at all that stuff, and I mean, I can't tell you how many times I reposted it, and people were still like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, I didn't know. And that's for a whole other video when we get into like the Hearing Act and suppressors and stuff like that. But it's just, you know, the more we start seeing this stuff, the more it's an obligation almost at that point to really start pumping these things out.
Definitely,
We're going to know more.
Even if one person watches this video and realizes that something's going on that they didn't know about, I mean, right there we succeeded. You know, we did something. And I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that are already aware of it.
Yeah, and I mean, your legislation, like Congress, I mean, all the stuff locally to you is accessible. I mean, write to them, call them, make a complaint. I mean, the more that people voice their opinion about this, the less you're going to have all these issues.
Yeah, let them know that we oppose, you know, legislation that's even happening in other states, just so they're aware of it.
Yeah.
Send them a link to this video. We'll tell them.
And it's all simplistic stuff. I mean, we're not talking about like, oh, get rid of, you know, background checks and this and that and the other thing. These are practical things that are being implemented into firearms now that I don't think anyone have ever thought of, you know, in the 1920s, 30s, you know, early 90s. I mean, this was never even a thought as to how can we trace this gun back to the consumer every single time.
Right.
It was a serial number, your background check, your form, not trying to microstamp because there's just too many loopholes involved with that.
Exactly. A lot of variables.
Yep. So that's our
take on microstamping.
Yeah. So stay tuned for more. I mean, the more we see, you know, these memes, videos, whatever pop up on social media, we'll be the first ones to try and take a crack at it.
Definitely.
Just give our, you know, unbiased opinion, I'd like to think.
Pretty much.
And yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, post our links up there, and we'll actually I'll make a little quick shout out here for the video or the group that did it. This was actually an article. It's very in depth with charts and stuff about, I mean, how often firearms were stolen, what, you know, is used in crimes, all this other stuff. It was actually in one of the blogs from The Truth About Guns.
So we'll post a link to them. Obviously, a lot of you guys in the firearms community, you know who these guys are.
Oh,
They're really good, really thorough with all their content. So we enjoy.
Yeah, we skimmed through a lot of this. I mean, this is a very in-depth thing. But
always a good read.
This was actually run 6 years ago by Nick Leghorn.
Okay.
So this is something that's been happening for a very long time too.
Yeah, and it's circulating again really hard right now.
Yeah, these
so.
these videos, these posts and stuff are really starting to come up back to the top of the search results after we hear more from California and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just get the word out.
Yep. So thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for watching.